Definitely, man. I want to shout out my baby girl, Mel. Her birthday today, man. Tax Day, April 15th. Jackie Robinson Day. Don't forget that. But shout out to her. Happy birthday. She turns 11 today, so.
Right on.
Yeah, man. Softball, basketball.
How y'all doing out there? I am here. How y'all doing out there? Just want to shout out to all those people who are staying quarantined, and thank you for joining us on Quarantine Sports. We hope you stay with us. Larson.
Larson.
I can hear you.
Yep. What up? What up? Yeah, man. Yeah, Kyle Larson. You know, while he was live streaming, thinking that he was talking with his buddies, or at least, he was talking to other drivers on there, but then it was live stream, on Twitch, and goes ahead and drops the N bomb. Definitely unacceptable. You know, Hearing it, I definitely thought it was going to be a big story. At first, I thought it was actually a bigger story on Twitter than it was on anything else. I didn't really see it through the sports channels until this Monday morning. But I think, what separates, I wanted to do a little research of this guy's background. I mean, he's a California boy, which is surprising. At the same time, he did come up the NASCAR route of through their like minority reach out program. He's Japanese American, Asian American. So it was interesting, his background a little, but still what he did were unacceptable. I think, when we were talking about earlier, the fact that he uses the hard R in the term, it definitely separates it from anything else. So don't know what he was thinking. I mean, he probably thought he was talking amongst his boys or whatnot, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how he can recover from this. I mean, I know at first it's NASCAR, and what do you expect? I know that was given out, but I mean, yeah, he lost his job. It definitely seems like he probably not going to bounce back from this.
I mean, what an idiot. I mean, first of all, you're live, and you have fans of yours who are watching, some who are probably African American, and then, he says this, and it's unfortunate for his race team, because I feel like they suffered more than him. He's the idiot. Now they have to find another driver, you know, get the sponsors back in place and find someone with some character to fill that spot. But again, this is NASCAR. I mean, it's a Southern sport. This is a sport that has stood behind the Confederacy for many years, and is trying to distance itself from that type of behavior. So I'm not surprised that he got fired. Um, Does he deserve redemption? I mean, that'll be up for other people to decide. He has work to do. So what do we know about Kyle Larson? Okay, he's from California. He's 27 years old. He's won 7 NASCAR races. Uh, one in Delaware, one in Virginia, I think a couple in California, and somewhere else. He was a free agent to be after this season that was postponed, and now to whereas he was going to be in position to get a multi-million-dollar deal, and now all of that's out the window just because he was stupid. I don't know if he was trying to ingratiate himself to maybe the good old boys that he deals with, but he has to remember he's still a minority, and I don't feel sorry for him. Like, we can move forward with that.
No, I mean, I, what's there to say that hasn't been said? I mean, it's not even a taboo word. Like, it's like, don't do it, don't say it. Like, definitely, in any context whatsoever, don't care if you're definitely from there. I saw the clip of when I don't know what led up to it. I don't know the context. I It didn't sound like he was calling anybody the word, like using it in a negative connotation or anything like that. But the word alone is definitely not okay to say it. So even with him dropping it and forgetting that he was in the moment, forgetting that he was live, I mean, his apology the very next day didn't seem sincere to me. It definitely was like a moment and trying to
salvage whatever it was that he could. I mean, the one good call out that he had in that apology was that he knew himself that
this is probably non-repairable, that it's definitely going to be a lasting damage, a stigma with him. So it's good that he knows that. But like Guru said, I mean, just plain idiot of not knowing, where you're at, what you're doing. I don't know. I mean, I think you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier in a sense of video games, right? If you're playing video games, you hear all types of stuff on there. People are gonna say it. I mean, you don't know who's on the other line half the time, but it definitely is one of those of, I maybe it's that video game culture, maybe it's that, what he's used to, but yeah, I mean, just plain idiot. Like, he was promising, young guy in the sport. It's like Guru said, I also don't feel sorry for him.
Yeah, it's too bad. I think his apology was trash. And let me know if you guys can hear me. I know I was having some technical difficulties earlier with my mic, but I think I fixed it. I know my guys can hear me, but the audience, I don't know if you guys can hear me. But I should say what I want to say. I think his apology was trash. I do feel he slipped up and he shouldn't have said it. Like that. Hard R's are always serious. Nobody's gonna ever let those slide. And especially he says it out the blue. And it is video game culture to where people, I'm online all the time. I'm serving in 2K. The guy quit. He rage quit. He's gonna automatically drop an N-bomb. And it's like, it's not cool and him to be on this pedestal that he's on. I think he has everything going against him. He's a NASCAR driver, so we already think that's NASCAR culture. He's also a minority, so his level of being forgiven by the public opinion is not the same. Like Riley Cooper can say it. I feel like, and sometimes in sports, ESPN and all these major networks, they kind of push it away. But this guy, being of his Asian descent and it being half Asian or whatever he is gonna put more of a microscope on it. So I think that was a big mix-up, a big mistake on his part. I think personally, I'm not gonna lie. I think the NASCAR culture is gonna forgive him. He is gonna move on from it. It depends where NASCAR wants to go, and NASCAR is gonna stay where, like Guru said, in their southern roots. And he'll get some more training and he'll do the PR situation like these guys do. So it is what it is.
He's young. It's going to take a while, if it is. I'm looking, and I'm not going to say he can't redeem himself, but he's going to have to put in some work. This is not going to be an overnight thing.
I don't know, but it's like a NASCAR doesn't really care about, not to say black audience or colored audience, but, black people normally don't watch NASCAR. So it's like, how many people of the NASCAR fans are you really offending? Like it's just a bad publicity thing, and like he's wrong. Like if I seen him, like, hey, I just come at him straight. I can't say it on the show, which I can. I would say, nah, my kids are watching, but um, it is,
Yeah.
it's just not what like somebody in NBA comes out and say this, a player that's non-black. Of course, that'd be horrible because that's the culture. The hip hop culture's around there. We all watch basketball, but we're not into NASCAR like that. Not yet. I know they're trying to shift, and there's a lot of people moving towards that lane. And I don't know if for NASCAR if they really want to go full fledged in that lane. Like if they reprimand this guy forever and really push the color initiative between to get some black and browns in there, then that'll
Yeah.
make sense. But I don't know if that's on their agenda or not. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were right in saying that it's NASCAR. He might find his way back, but I think sadly, there probably still is an avenue for him that's probably not as visual, like like truck racing. Those little like I don't even know what you call them, but it's like those dirt sprinter races and whatnot. Like there's a lot of stuff that I know for a fact that people are into that he can kind of run his circuit on, underground, if you want to call it that. But yeah, I mean, I do think that, it shouldn't be repairable, but we probably will see it. It's NASCAR culture.
We're gonna see it. And honestly, us, the normal fans who don't watch NASCAR, don't really care. It's in our mind, we just gonna chalk it up to that's what we thought of the guy. He showed us exactly who he is, and I'm not surprised. And oh well. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk. I know in 8 days is the NFL draft. You guys were talking about top picks, and nobody really can agree on a top pick right now. I know people are saying Joe Burrow, but I know you two guys have your opinions on the draft. So the real question is, who is the number one pick in the 2020 NFL draft, and why? Um, who wants to go first?
Juan?
Big Weezy.
Yeah.
Big Weezy. Let us know. Bengals.
Let's go. So I'll tell you who the number one pick is going to be, and that is Joe Burrow. He is going to be the number one pick. Do I think he should be the number one pick? No. There is a number one consensus player, top rank, separated from everybody else that is more of a short thing than anything in that this draft has to offer, and that is Chase Young. He's just a beast, a monster. He should be number one. If you want, if I know the Bengals, offense, they want to put wins, they want to do this, but at the same time, I mean, there's no denying that defense wins championships. If you want to build around a piece, a la Khalil Mack, a la Aaron Donald, a la Myles Garrett, if you want to say that, questionable character there, but I won't get into that. Chase Young's your number one consensus, at least for me. But who's going to be the number one pick? I think it's Joe Burrow. Cincinnati, I do not have faith and confidence in Andy Dalton. I know that his contract is coming up fairly soon as well. So that's who I think.
Yeah, Andy Dalton, backyard training. Guru, who do you think is going to be number one?
Well, I believe Joe Burrow will be number one, but I feel like the number one pick should be Jordan Love out of Utah State. I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Bengals. I know he's nowhere near. They got him slotted 19th, but last year I had Lamar Jackson first on my board, and I had the year before I had what's the name, Lamar Jackson. He was second on my board. So it's like that same year. So these quarterbacks, sometimes they can be overhyped when they get a lot of media attention. That doesn't matter once you step on the field. I feel like Jordan Love did more with less, kind of like what Patrick Mahomes did. And we can agree that Patrick Mahomes should have been the number one pick in 2018 NFL draft. So I feel like who will be the number one pick? It'll be Joe Burrow. But I feel like Jordan Love with his frame, his size, quarterbacks lasting 10, 12, 15 years, he's the guy.
Yeah, I guess we do agree. Joe, I don't think Joe Burrow is the best player. I'm never a fan of NFL top draft picks making a 1 year and then dazzling everybody. Like Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, and he was the best quarterback last year. But I like lineage when it comes to drafting quarterbacks. Like all these guys who are one hit wonders. Not say one hit wonders in college don't pan out, but it kind of history shows that. Look at the dog. It shows that the guys who have a college pedigree, they end up doing better in college than these guys who come out and have like a 1 year magical season. And Guru, that dog is distracting me. That dog is so cute. Now I'm lying. If you know me personally, I don't. Never mind. I don't care too much. But yeah, Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow, he's the number one right now. Of course, he's going to go number one. I don't think in tight holes and with the football, he's playing with his kids and he's training in his backyard, just trying to stay ready. And I wonder what team is going to give him the opportunity. And to piggyback back into the draft, let me stay on topic. Chase Young is the best player, I believe, especially when it comes to DN. Like these DNs that are monsters that go number 2 and number 3, they should really go number 1. They just don't go 1 because they're not quarterbacks. Like, we all like to think quarterbacks should go number 1. Every couple of years, the offensive line might go number 1, but that's because he's protecting the quarterback. So, I don't know. I think, and looking back on it, the draft, they might say Chase Young, he's the top guy. Like, look at look at Bosa. Like, if you have that guy who has that college pedigree, who's really serving on the defense, I think that what they do when they get in the NFL, they shown they should be number 1, but it's not the sexy position in football. And we all know how sexy position in football goes. You got to play these type of positions to get the money, to get the notoriety. So it is, I don't know. What's the number 1 sleeper move you guys think will happen in the draft? Go ahead, Juan. Like a surprising pick, something that's going to.
Surprising pick. Like I'm going to reference, we'll name drop ESPN guru, not to be confused with our guru, Mel Kiper. Has Jordan Love, somebody who Guru is very high on, going to the Raiders. I think that would be a surprise pick. But then I think about it, and it's the Raiders. I don't think it would surprise me. I mean, they took Colin Farrell. Am I saying that correct?
Farrell, 4th pick.
Farrell, 4th pick, and it's like, I mean, he was still serviceable. I mean, he was definitely a complementary piece for the defense. So it's not like a wash pick or anything like that. It's not a bust yet, but it definitely is one of those, like, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think that is a big surprise if they're going to go after a quarterback. I mean, it'll probably make sense in the later rounds, but that high up, I think that would surprise me. The other thing, it's like, I mean, I'm just very curious as to what Washington's going to do at the number 2 pick. Everybody talks about the Dolphins hijacking the draft and having numerous, I think it's 13 at the draft, and they have that ammunition to move up and down and do a whole bunch of things. But I think that's a wild card, I mean, Chase Young is a consensus number 1, and, he's projected to go number 2. But then they're also flirting with the idea of Tua. They're flirting with, doing their homework on some of these other quarterbacks. They're not 100% sold. So it really would surprise me if they don't go Chase Young. Although I'm also a fan. I'm also a firm believer of an area of strength that they have is D-line. And now they're just going to add another person. And it's like it's 49ers all over again. I mean, they got success with it. But 49ers went, 4-5 straight defensive ends, defensive lines in a row. So, but the real surprise, I think, would be if Oakland spent one of their first round picks on a quarterback.
Guru, do you have any surprises?
Yeah, I think a surprise. Dallas Cowboys is trying to move up in the draft. get the number one fifth pick, the fifth pick, trade Dak Prescott with the fifth. That would be a move where Dallas would get that fifth pick and draft a quarterback that they like. That's if they have to depart with Dak, because Dak will not participate until he has a contract. We all know if he doesn't participate until July 15th, well, as a quarterback, that's impossible. Like, you're leading. You got to know what the defense, what the offense needs to know. You got to know what everyone else on the offense needs to know. So that is a scenario where Cowboys move up with the fifth pick and take maybe Tua, which I would not be happy with any of that. But that's something that I've kind of heard, through the grapevine. I hope it doesn't happen, but that would be my surprise.
Yeah, those are, for me, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders did anything. If they went up number one, I mean, not number one, but if they used all their draft picks and grabbed one of these quarterbacks, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, maybe they might get Tua. Maybe that's why they have our quarterbacks we have now to train them. But we'll see. Draft, I'm looking forward to it. The Raiders might pick a quarterback. They might pick I hope we get the receiver out of Alabama. They're saying that's another guy that can come to us. But
one.
But we'll see though. We have the real draft guru as our GM. So, I can't call it. But a quick little subject, since we're on the draft, let's talk about how we don't really know about these quarterbacks, if they're going to pan out or if they're what's going to happen. So let's look back a few years ago. I have a graphic on the screen. Hold on, let me pull it up. It's about the quarterback class of 2018, I believe. Yeah, 18. Let me pull that up. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm gonna read their names, and one of them we know is Fade already. But it's so back in you grade quarterback drafts by looking back at it. So this is a few years ago, and these guys, Baker Mayfield, and then third when Sam Darnold, Josh Allen went, I think, 10 or 11, and then Josh Rosen, he went a few picks to Arizona. We know about his career, and then 32 went Lamar Jackson. Guru, I'm gonna bring you in first on this topic because I know you want to talk about it. Looking back at that draft class, how do you think those guys stacked up, and is it who's gonna fail or pass or make it or break it year?
Well, this is definitely a make or break year for year 3 for this rookie draft class, and I'll tell you why, and that's because of the success of Lamar Jackson. If you just seen what he did from start of his rookie campaign going into his second year, winning the MVP, which was phenomenal. I think that raises a level. I think that raised a level of expectations for the quarterbacks who were drafted like 20-something picks ahead of him. Let's start with Baker Mayfield. I think he was he was a reach. I had him on my board as like a 3rd round pick. I had Baker Mayfield as a 3rd round pick. I felt he was too short. I felt like he had all that time in Alabama. I looked at Alabama's schedule. I looked at their weapons, and the way he played, I didn't see how his game would translate at the NFL level. And so far, I've been right. Let's go to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is a guy that, Southern Cal kid. I think everyone kind of gets overhyped over Southern Cal quarterbacks. We already know the story on most of them. It ain't pretty good. It ain't very good at all. This guy is, he's touted for how smart he is and how cerebral he is in the pocket. But I really haven't seen enough out of him to justify that 3rd pick in the draft. There's some holes in his game, and he's a little erratic. Let's move on to Josh Rosen, since he was that 10th pick. Josh Allen. He went to Buffalo with that 7th pick. Again, he's as unpolished as they come. That Buffalo team last year was their shot if he was good enough at that position. And that was the one position that was the Achilles heel going through the season and in the playoffs with him. He's erratic. You look at his stats. He just doesn't see the field well. Much is expected out of him coming this season. I know they got him a new weapon. Now let's move on to Josh Rosen. Pure pocket passer. I think, he's one of those guys that's going to bounce around. a lot. But those guys, I don't know what exactly is going to happen to him, but he's got paid already. These quarterbacks, the first three picks, those guys have got to step up. They have to be playoff quarterbacks this year based on their draft status, and there will be no excuses from me if they don't, because they have the talent to do it.
Juan?
Definitely, man. I mean, it's tough to follow up Guru in this just because he touched up on every single one of them and had these points. And there's going to be a couple of things that I'm about to say that I'm not saying in a sense of devil's advocate, but it's just a different perspective. Like the most that I think the quarterback on that list that I think has the most to prove in a make or break year is, in my opinion, is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson talent out the roof, right? Like MVP, definitely won MVP. But how do you follow that up? Like, in order to top that, you need to go out and win a Super Bowl now. Like, be MVP again and take your team and win a Super Bowl. Like, yes, it was just a second year, but not only because I'm a Redskin fan, I know that I keep pointing out, I feel like this year coming up for him is the RG3 year. I mean, it's funny because RG3 is on his team, is his backup. But this is, I think, Lamar Jackson, out of all those, actually has the most to prove in this coming year. When it comes down to who's set up quite nicely, it's actually Allen. Allen, I mean, for his size and what he actually brings to the table on running, he actually reminds me a little bit of Ben Roethlisberger. As much as I don't like him, his pedigree on but he is going to have to be ready for it because Buffalo is stacked defense. Like, he's definitely going to go out there. Mayfield, I think he's a little too immature. I mean, I see why they drafted him number one. I think there was shades of Drew Brees, but I just think that the maturity level is definitely not there. Like, I feel like hype being around OBJ, being around that team, like just being an NFL player, I think is just too much for him, in my opinion, in order to get. Rosen, you don't know because, I mean, not really a fair shake. I mean, he definitely was really, he was okay at UCLA. He wasn't the best quarterback in college. Everybody touted him for his cerebral, QBing, right? Like his knowledge, his playbook. Like he himself, I mean, I think he had headlines going into the draft where he was like, "Oh, I'm the smartest guy here," or something along those lines, But now, he's with Miami. I mean, I know for a fact that they definitely don't think that's their guy. I mean, is he going to be serviceable? I think so. I mean, I think that he'll eventually go to a spot that can kind of showcase him, and he can be a spot, starter a la Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic, if anything. I mean, it's funny because he's in Miami, but, it definitely is one of those where that's how I see all of these guys. But for me, I mean, obviously Lamar Jackson is definitely the cream of the crop out of this group, but he has the most to prove.
I know I muted myself. My bad. I'm unmuted, guys. But I have to disagree with you on some points, Juan. I think Lamar Jackson, with that MVP, he's going to give himself a cushion of what he can do. Like even if he fell off this year, I think the next year would be something that he'll have to prove himself. Like, I think we do expect Super Bowl or bust for the team, and when you have Super Bowl aspirations, that means Lamar Jackson has pressure, but from just that draft class alone, I'm going with Baker Mayfield. He got drafted number one, but a lot of people think he shouldn't have been number one. People question his height, but more importantly, they question his maturity. Like, this guy is an immature, like a college kid. He's kind of like Johnny Manziel a little bit, but just a little bit more skilled in his position. And he has weapons. Like, I think that's what puts the most pressure on Baker Mayfield, because you look at all these quarterbacks besides Josh Allen, just like with Stephon Diggs. But Baker Mayfield has talent, and he has just talent on his whole team from running backs to wide receivers to dang on 2 tight ends. And I think it's on this guy to perform. And everybody's rooting for Baker because we want to like Baker Mayfield. He is a cool kid. He has a underdog story. Like everybody's rooting for him. He's funny. He can dance. He's in commercials. But he has the other side where he's kind of like he feel like he's already at the top. He's somewhat disrespectful to other players in the league. So I think that already put him under a microscope. And now he just solidified last season with some of the things he said and how he acted. Now he has a new coach. So he has to prove himself to this new coach. So I think realistically he is the one who has to prove himself the most out the class. Josh Rosen, obviously, he's a journeyman now. And I don't think it's necessarily his fault. But when they brought in Cliff to Arizona, he wanted to get Kyler. That's somebody who needs to prove himself next season to me. But we're not talking about that class. But yeah, so Josh Rosen, he has to try to get back into that starting role and really prove that he was worth that early round pick. Well, Sam Darnold again, but Sam Darnold doesn't really have that much weapons. Like he has Le'Veon Bell, but he has Le'Veon. I haven't played for a year, Bell, and you know how it is with running backs when they take a year off, and I don't know. So he has to deal with that. I think Sam Darnold is supposed to prove he's going to prove himself this year. I think he's going to do a good job. I'm not like Captain Mono. He got it from freaking, so I'm on his team. Like I support those actions. Nah, I'm just joking. But yeah. So who else? Sam Darnold. Who was the last guy in that draft class that I missed? I missed one person. Who is it? Oh no, that's everybody. Mayfield.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Like I said, Josh Allen. He was almost there last year, so I disagree with you, Guru, because Josh Allen came out of nowhere with that Bills team to put them in a good position. And now I guess he's under more pressure this year, but he doesn't have that much to prove. Like he has to show us that he can play with a number one receiver. But if that team, now I'm thinking now because you got me thinking. I forgot Tom Brady was out of that division, so people are going to peg the Bills to win. So the pressure might be on him this year. Now that I think about it, and go ahead, Juan. I couldn't hear you. Say that one more time.
Buffalo is the favorite in that division now. I would definitely say it's theirs for the taking. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from New England. I mean, Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick, and they still have a defense. I mean, that defense came out of nowhere last year. And Tom Brady is still Tom Brady, but he's gone. I still trust every game that he's missed. I still trust that somebody's gonna step up for that squad. I mean, it's built too good for them not to do anything. But Buffalo does have that pressure this year. I mean, I do think that now the general consensus is Tom Brady's gone. Buffalo's definitely gonna go out. I'm not a betting person. I'm pretty sure that Vegas is definitely all on Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree, but I truly believe that Josh Allen was the weak link to that Bills
really?
team
he's,
to get
he's
further.
hurdling over people.
Yeah, because
he's rushing and he's jumping over people.
That's because he can't read the defense downfield to throw the ball. Now I will say he probably does need another receiver, and they'll give him that. And with that, I would expect more, but that's why he was running a lot. He just like tuck it and go because one, he has the wheels, and he's like, okay, I can't read that defensive coverage, go. And I'm sure that's what they tell him. If you don't see the first read, second, take off. And he takes off after the first one.
He takes off. He's gone, huh? Well, I don't know. We'll see. These guys are under pressure. There's a bunch of new guys coming in this year, so we'll see how these new guys pan out and what's in store for the rest of the league. And speaking of, excuse me, Sam Darnold. I allude to that he has a running back that took a year off, but that's a good segue to my next conversation. Christian McCaffrey, number one paid quarterback, $16 million. I don't know his deal. Anybody who knows the details of his deal, let us know. But I know he's the highest paid. Go ahead, Juan. You got the stats on that?
I mean, yeah, highest paid running back. You hit it. You hit it right. Where it was 16 mil a year. I believe it's a 4-year, 64 mil contract. So, I mean, next man up, right? Get paid.
Yep.
I mean, it made that franchise tag that much more valuable. I think Derek, that average, I think the franchise tag is they take the top 5 salaries and average them out, something like that. So Derrick Henry's happy because he's going to get a little bit more chunk of change. But yeah, I mean, is it a little premature? I mean, this is a la Todd Gurley, right? I mean, I think the Rams did it with Gurley and paid him and off of that rookie deal for being a workhorse. The Panthers, I mean, CMC, man. I mean, he is the Panthers at the moment, right? I mean, they let go of Newton. They're trying to establish something new. That college coach, Rule, is definitely known as an offensive mind. So I think CMC plays really, really well into his kind of game scheme. But I think he should have got paid more. I mean, I peg him. I know that he's a running back, but he had 2,500 yards receiving in the past 3 years. And given that first year was kind of a little bit of a watch, just because he was still being established there. Yeah, man. I mean, I think running backs, their longevity in the league isn't all that great, but I think he should have got paid more. I mean, I'd like to see the running backs in the millions, just we saw with the Raiders and for that matter. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I agree that I'm okay with him being number 1 running back for the moment right now. If I have a mentality about the next guy up and all that, like if he's up and he's due for a bump, you give him the bump. Like I'm not against him. Like he was up there. Kudos to him. He stepped and he played. But Guru, go ahead and take it before I dig into it more. Christian McCaffrey, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like he's earned that money. I mean, he's shown for his size to be very durable. Good speed, good receiver. I was always a fan of his when he was at Stanford, and I thought, man, when he gets to the NFL, can he run between the tackles? He's proven that, and my concern is, with that 2,500 yards, you got him on a 4-year deal. How many touches is he going to have next year? In the next year. So they're going to really have to build around him now since he's their focal point, why he has about 3-4 good years left because they're going to use the hell out of him.
Yeah. I think I'm
happy for him.
Like he gets used a lot. He gets banged up. And that's what makes it different from Derrick Henry. Like I'm a Derrick Henry fan, but like I said, Derrick Henry hasn't been rushing and he hasn't been that dominant for so long. So I can see how he can miss out on money. Like Le'Veon, I thought he should have got paid when his time came up, but running back, like you guys, like Juan, I agree, he should be the highest paid right now. Other guys are going to be next. Alvin, however you say his last name, Kamara, he's going to be next. I know Joe Mixon is talking about holding out. I don't think he should because he hasn't proven anything, and that team hasn't proven anything. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey is a running back, so I don't think he should get paid more money. Like you said, if it'd be great if all running backs got paid on an even paying level as far as their, receivers, quarterbacks, whatever. But they don't, and it's sad that that's the position that he's in. That the quarterback market. I mean, the running back market is kind of down here when it comes to thoughts of GMs and overall owners of the NFL. So he's doing a good job. He's like you said, Cam Newton is gone. If you're thinking about marquee players and franchise guys, he's the franchise guy for the Carolina Panthers. And in my book, you have to pay the franchise guy. He's going to be the guy that brings in the tickets. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to do all this stuff. That's the guy you put out there for the community. And so of course, he was going to get paid. Cam Newton is gone. Luke Kuechly is gone. All right, how do we lock up our one person that we need to be on our team to carry us to the future? You give him the most money. So I'm not against this at all. Like I know some people are saying, was he worth it or was he not? He has too many touches not to be worth the money, and that's I think running backs. I think it's a crazy position. Like you really got to put your body in danger. That's why Henry was trying to hold out because he wants to get that guaranteed contract. But then again, it's like, all right, you have to sacrifice to get to that point. Like McCaffrey, like he's kind of under the radar, and he's something that people can market in NFL. We know for obvious reasons, but at the same time, he still deserve it. Go ahead, Juan. You look, you got something on your mind?
Yes.
I had a question for in that. Okay, it's a new coach. He's coming from college. At the same time, he kind of wiped that offensive roster clean, right? You got Teddy Bridgewater, being quarterback there. Do you think his production is actually going to go lower? I mean, are people going to, if he doesn't produce the same amount, are these factors taken into consideration? Or it's like, no, you're getting paid this money. You better go out there and play like you have been playing. Only reason I mention is like, I'm very high on the receivers. I really like both receivers that Panthers have. More on one side, and I think it's Samuel on the other. I could be wrong on that, but those guys are possession guys. They're not gonna break long catches. I mean, Samuels has that capability, but more that guy was catching like 3-yarders, kind of a la CMC, and getting 7-8 yards, converting first downs off of them, and it's like it's a little slant, just moving the yardsticks when it comes down to. So they have pieces there, but I'm just curious as to what your guys' thoughts on and the fact that he needs to learn a new system. There's a whole new coach, and there's going to be a new battery back there, right? Like there's a new quarterback there. So how does he mold with Teddy Bridgewater? And how does his game kind of translate to Christian McCaffrey?
Hey, go ahead, Guru. You got a response?
Well, I feel like with Teddy Bridgewater filling in New Orleans for those 5 games, playing with Alvin Kamara, who catches the ball out the backfield plus running between the tackles.
Ooh,
I think that familiarity will kind of help him with with that process with McCaffrey. Also, Teddy Bridgewater is he's more of a passer. In other words, he is not going to leave that pocket like Cam did, and can get those yards. So I think it'll be more of a balance with McCaffrey's production because he'll be catching deeper balls out the backfield because he's got a quarterback, who's back there. And I think the terminology as far as what he does best will remain the same, and they'll build the other terminology around it.
Good point, Guru. Good point. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, we'll see. I didn't think about his production dropping but he played good last year, and he had a horrible quarterback last year. Not horrible, but he didn't have Cam Newton back there last year. And Teddy Bridgewater should be an upgrade from the quarterback position, so that will allow him to get a break and really be free. So we'll see. But I think once again, running backs, if production goes down, he's not on the team. I don't think it's going to be. It's not a thing when it. Like he's not a quarterback. They're not going to hold on to. NFL is famously known not to hold on to running backs when they get non-production. So that's why these guys want this contract. He has this big contract now, but he's going to have to prove that he deserved the contract every single year because he's a running back. So I think he should be okay. I don't think it's like a big thing. But we got a comment in here from Kevin Johnson. He says, Raymir McCaffrey is overpaid. I hate to say it. Even now after all our conversation, to this viewer, Kevin Johnson, do you feel that this guy is still overpaid? I think I don't know who. All right, if Christian McCaffrey is overpaid, who should be paid more than he should? I guess the next man up should be paid more than he should if you go in my book. So whoever contract is next, that's the top running back, they could get more than Christian McCaffrey. But nobody has the touches and feels from I watch games all the time where they putting his stats up, 30 carries, 30 touches. I'd be crying for him. I'm like, he's not gonna withstand all that heat that whole time.
a lot.
Let's go to quick commercial break, quick second, and then we'll be right back with some more. And we are back. So yeah, quick commercial break. I don't use CBD. I mean, I don't smoke marijuana or nothing like that. But CBD oil does help. I know older folks use it. I used it on one of my knees one time. Um, it works. It's something I had to get used to. It was new to me, but it's cool. Green Relief Collection. I'm gonna put a link in my description. You guys should hit them up. They're still delivering in these Corona times. Get some natural healing. We can't take aspirins forever. Let's bring the fellas back in here. And I'm also we're going to take some questions too. I'm going to go through this through these questions and comments and see what people are talking about and see if we can just come with some random. If we can come with some random, because we have not too many questions, but we have a few. Marcus Carson, he goes, what does it say? No, this is Kevin. Oh, he's okay. He's asking another question. Another viewer. He was like, "What you think of today?" They were releasing that MJ might not be the GOAT over LeBron. What do you say? I'm pretty sure the guy he asked he's going to say LeBron. But what do you guys think? Who is the greatest of all time when it comes to basketball? Guru, you want to go first? Let's let you go first this time.
Well, I mean, I grew up in the Michael Jordan era, when I was watching him in college and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I'll have to say it's LeBron James. It's fairly easy to me. I mean, how often, I know MJ is undefeated in finals appearances, and that is something to be said. He's 6-0. However, I don't know how many kids can come straight out of high school and lead an average bunch. I'm not talking about when he was in Miami, but I'm talking about when he was in Cleveland, lead an average bunch to the NBA Finals. I don't think that we'll see someone like him that's going to come in the game and transform it like him. Whereas, yeah, he went to a lot of championships. He didn't win them all, but my gosh, he was the real deal. And I don't think Michael Jordan could have done that coming straight out of high school.
Oh, you say you don't think he could have done that coming straight out of high school? I think you might have something there. Juan, what do you think about that?
I mean, I was going to start off with that. Personally, I don't think you can ask me that question. I am a Jordan loyalist. Always will be. I mean, my daughter Melanie, her initials are MJ, for that very fact. So, I just think that he's the GOAT. Always gonna be the GOAT. What he brought to the game, what he did for the game, I can watch him at any given moment on NBA Classics. I mean, it's actually pretty cool. Every weekend they're actually playing a lot of Bulls games. So, shameless plug if you guys are fans, you guys definitely watch them at the moment. Mm-hmm. But you're absolutely right on the LeBron James factor of he has dealt with adversity that a lot of people haven't dealt with, right? Some of it has been self-inflicted as well, though. I mean, the decision, come on, definitely didn't warrant all that feedback, teaming up, everything like that, all the legends coming up and being like, I would have never partnered up with Jordan. I would have never partnered up with Bird. They did. It was the dream team, right? 92, just that team annihilated absolutely everyone, right? But, at the same time, we get through it. Is there going to be another Jordan? I don't think so. I'm a firm believer that Kobe was the closest thing to him in any capacity when it came down to defensive talent. the cold-bloodedness, the relearning the game. So that is one thing that I think LeBron is actually taking away from Jordan. Like, I would actually say from me watching LeBron, he's actually come out and say that he's a Jordan loyalist, right? Like, he wears 23 because of MJ. Like, he's actually been an advocate to say retire the number 23. I won't wear it anymore because of it, right? But Jordan did something in his career that a lot of people till this day are trying to replicate, and not many people master. In a few, but Jordan reinvented the way he plays as he got older. It wasn't I'm gonna still go to the basket. Like the fadeaway. Jordan fadeaway didn't come till the last half of his career, and it was him establishing dominance in that I'm gonna redefine. Like, I'm gonna reshape my game. I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna learn something that guard that's gonna be unstoppable. Kind of the sky hook, the Dirk lift of the knee, like definitely something like that. Like, you saw Kobe do the same thing, learn low post, when to go train with Hakeem, the dream, and learn that footwork and everything like that. You're seeing it now with LeBron. I mean, as he's getting older, I mean, it's weird, man. I mean, he's up there with Tom Brady in a sense that age doesn't seem to affect this guy in any way, shape, or form. He just seems to be getting better and better under the right circumstances, right? But the thing that separates is that intensity of competitiveness. He was the ultimate competitor. Kobe was probably the closest thing to him, where everybody said he's a bad teammate. I mean, doesn't pass the ball, doesn't do this. I mean, Jordan has showed you he passed the ball in bigger moments than anything. Like, he understood the situation that, the third championship against the Suns, passing it in the last seconds to John Paxson, and Paxson hitting it. Like, that was him reading the moment and being like, all eyes are on me, you go and take it. Did the exact same thing with who? Steve Kerr, the second time around. Bam, go ahead, reading the moment. So,
man, I can hear it.
Competitive.
I can hear the Michael Jordan fandom in you. Like, you're gonna go forever about Jordan. And it was I know you've seen on Twitter earlier, they posted the Complex, Sports Complex. They put, after The Last Dance come out, people are gonna think Jordan is a horrible guy. Jordan has been a horrible guy. Everybody knows this. I didn't find it surprising. I thought, I mean, let me just say this about LeBron or Jordan. Personally, I don't know. I want to say LeBron because he's been to so many championships in a row, and he does a lot of things with less. I feel like those Cleveland Cavaliers team, they were trash. But at the same time, part of the game that Jordan brought, that tenacity that makes him a horrible guy, is what I really miss in sports right now. Like, being tough, not really caring about the opposing team, like just being like disrespectful. Not disrespectful in real life, but disrespectful on the court, and really just caring about your team and just nothing else. Like, he don't want to be buddy. Like, I miss that killer instinct in people, and that was my favorite thing that Kobe did that he got from Jordan, was that instinct. Is just that, you smell, a shark smells blood, he just attack. Like, a lot of these guys don't attack, and I will say LeBron is not an attacker. That's his main thing. Like, he wants to give up he wants to make somebody else better, and that's why I feel like Jordan has always been labeled a horrible, not to say a horrible guy, but a sketchy guy, because he'll take the last shot. Like, he's not against it. I'm okay. I'm good. Yeah, so he's not against it. So I think that about Jordan, as far as him taking the reins and just, how he plays, is really something commendable. Like, the big meme, somebody just pointed out right now, Alvin, he said, F them kids. Like, that's one of my favorite memes right now. Because that's how Jordan is a dog. And in his NBA career, it served him right. Like, I don't think it really did him bad, and he did good in two different eras, or not say two different eras, but two different periods of time, and he three-peated. Like, that's not going to happen again, where a guy three-peats. Well, I can't say when he three-peats twice, that's not going to happen again. But at the same time, a guy making an NBA championship 7 times in a row, or whatever how many times LeBron did it, that might not happen again. So it's like, I think we're judging on two different times and two different eras.
Yeah.
Like you said, Jordan, he had to get better. So technically, that would make him the greatest of all time because he made himself the greatest of all time. LeBron was born in whoever his dad is. Nah, that's not funny. I take that back. But whoever his lineage that made him have like this athletic build and this great NBA sports basketball body. Fresh out of high school, nobody ever done it like him. But a lot of guys have come out of high school and made an impact. So I think overall, I'm not into nostalgia, so I don't know. I think I was always LeBron, but Juan, you made a compelling argument that kind of won me over on Jordan right now. So as a man, who I would hang out with, I think LeBron is a better person.
No, man.
Go ahead, Juan.
You hit a good point in that LeBron is giving, right? Like he's given out so many championships to the rest of the league. So definitely, hasn't won them. With Jordan, I mean, essentially, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, people should hate him. Like, that guy was a dream killer. Like, how many Hall of Famers did he deny a championship? Like, there is a lot of people from that era that they say, is one of the better eras, right? Like, everybody, I mean, we grew up with it. So, the Reggie Millers, the Patrick Ewings, like, he even gave them a break. And then, the Rockets went ahead and killed everybody else's dreams there, right? But it's like, that was all Jordan, though. Like, Jordan definitely denied some people the joy of doing it. So, I mean, like I said to start, I'm a Jordan loyalist. I always will be. I always say that just what he brought, how he changed the game, his brand, thing that just paved the way for where we're at now. I mean, I'm not gonna take anything away from LeBron, though. Like, he's definitely in the conversation, and that's good enough for me.
That's what we're holding on to with Jordan. That everything he's done for like the game and how he transcended brands, he kind of made a personal brand out of Jordan's. Are we holding on that a little bit too much right now? And that's why we're kind of putting him up there, like, oh, he did this much, he did this. Because I'm not into nostalgia acts, so I kind of always go back and forth on that one.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think there's some element, yes. Like, I do think that we do hold on to it, like, the nostalgia factor, as you kind of pointed out, right? But it's like, it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges at the same time. Like, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see them play. I mean, crap, like, we didn't even see LeBron and Kobe go at it on a finals. Like, how did that not happen? And it definitely was, it just wasn't in the cards to actually do that, but it's like, I just think what was there, like, it was a different league back then, man. It was more physical. There were bigger bodies. Like, I mean, I know LeBron is just like a beast, like, he's big. Definitely could have played in that era as well. And he would have done well too. Like, I think LeBron would have been a la Karl Malone in that if he was playing in that era, right? But it definitely is one of those of I just feel like Jordan, just for the amount of time that he did it, definitely, made his mark. And to me is just the GOAT,
Yeah, it sounds like to me like you're gonna hold on to this forever. But this is not, we haven't talked about this at all. We even in our pre-show meeting we haven't discussed this. And you brought an interesting point about Kobe never going against LeBron. And this is another player in the NBA who I'm starting to think he does not get the respect he deserves. And I think it's because of the things he say. And that's Kevin Durant. When we're talking greatest of all time, are we going to ever start talking about putting Kevin Durant on this list? Now, you talked about Kobe not going against LeBron in the championships. But KD has went head-to-head with LeBron twice and bested him twice when he was in his prime, Heat years, but LeBron was still prime when he faced him. And this is just, before we get out of here or whatever, I just wanted to bring it up. Are we not giving KD the respect he deserves, or he's not there yet? Guru, I guess we'll start with you since we let Juan do the Michael Jordan right now, but I know me and Juan probably going back and forth on this, and I've been anti-Kevin Durant for a while. Before he got to the Golden State Warriors, he had an exchange with my very good friend Chop online, because we all know Kevin Durant replies to tweets, and one time Kevin Durant tweeted out that, we might be famous and we might be rich, but you guys know what we go through. And then our friend was like, man, that's cool, but that's unfair. Like, we go through a lot, but you got to kind of fix a lot of y'all problems with money, so our lives don't compare. And then Kevin Durant came at him in the comments. We should have saved it, but a few months later, he got signed to the Warriors, so we had to forgive him. We had to lift the base god curse. But are we not respecting KD for being the greatest of all time, top 10, top 5, top 20? Guru, go ahead.
I don't think that we're disrespecting because I don't think he's a greatest top 10. I don't think he's even close. Remember, like you said, he played on a Warriors team that already has possibly 2 Hall of Famers. But one we know for sure. Yeah, let's just go ahead and say 2, and Steph and Clay. So when you play with them, I mean, it's kind of hard, to see what your greatness is. When you're 6'10" and all, and your backcourt is being double teamed, you can sit there and just boom, make your shots. What I would like to see if for him to be in that conversation is for him to win a championship in Brooklyn. It's just that simple. Like, win a championship. You're already going to have another point guard who's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame one day, and whatever Kyler, what his name is, yeah. But
Irie Curvin, that's a real snake.
Irie Curvin.
But we'll talk about that another day.
If he's gonna, me being a Wizards fan, I'm not disgruntled that he didn't come to us, But I will say,
you are. Let's just wait a minute, Guru. You have to be disgruntled. If you bring it up, that means you're disgruntled. But go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off, Guru. Sorry. Go ahead.
He's a Redskin fan anyway. So, but I'll say this: he, if he wants to win a title, if he wants to be considered in that conversation, he's going to have to do it by winning a championship. And I don't count what he did in Golden State. I don't count that. If he had did it in Oklahoma City, I'd have been fine. I'd already include him. But winning a championship in Brooklyn, and then we can have that. But until then, I can't. I don't know,
man. Those 9 years he had in OKC was monstrous 9 years. We just talked about how a whole bunch of guys don't win the title and they get forgotten about. But we got a guy who made a decision like LeBron, and LeBron is going to be like one of the GOATs of all time. And he's been in the league. Him and KD those are the 2 guys who's been going at it forever. And those are the 2 guys that I think people should compare LeBron to when they talk about greatest of this era. And I think because, KD he done a lot of questionable things with his personality and things he said and just how he conducts himself that I think that we just don't like it. And it's easy to spite KD. Like, man, I hate him. This guy doesn't brush his hair or whatever the case may be. He's going out. But go ahead, Juan. I know you didn't get in this. That's what she said.
Definitely. I mean, here comes the hate mail. I mean, I think KD might be in our live chat right now, disguised as somebody. Of definitely going into it, But I mean, I won't take anything away from KD's game. I mean, offensive talent definitely is a scorer. I mean, I think his Twitter handle or whatever IG handle is something sniper. So
Easy Sniper, definitely something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It's like definitely he has it. He did lose me with joining the Warriors. Like, I'm sorry, but you actually had the Warriors up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Like, you were up on these guys 3-1, and they came back. If it wasn't for Clay going bonkers, and they should have been in the finals. I mean, they were in the finals already and ran into LeBron, but it definitely is one of those of, I won't take anything away from that. When he joined the 73 team win, team, it definitely it lost me. The other thing is I just think that he's just too much in his feels. Like, what separates him from everybody else in the NBA, in my opinion, he truly cares what we say about him. Like, if somebody would give him this video, he would truly fucking be pissed. Sorry. He would really be pissed at what we're saying and not giving him the love or anything. Like, he really just is in his feels and truly cares about what other people think about him. Like, you know, the Twitter thing, the back and forth, like, has to respond to absolutely everything. Like, I do think that that's a knock on him. Like, dude, go out there, be an assassin. Don't care. Like, definitely just go out there and shut us up, basically, you know? But I do think that if he wins with Brooklyn, will elevate his... I mean, in all likelihood, I would have preferred him to stay the rest of his career with the Warriors. Then it would be the case, like, look, it's my team. I'm established. I took it away from Steph. Like he had the potential to do that. And sure, you know, definitely would have been a little bit better in my... The deed was done already. But it is just too much in these fields. He cares about what people think about him. And I think that's what really separates him from being one of the greats. Like, you know, Jordan coming out and saying people are going to hate me or think that I'm bad. Like, Kobe could give a rat's butt of anything that you said about him. I mean, even LeBron to that extent is kind of showing that, right? Where it's like, he knows he's a voice of the NBA and he has to comment on a lot of things, whether political or anything like that. But it's like, even he brushes some of this stuff off and be like, hey, I don't care. Like, I went over there. Like, I'm going to own up to it, right? Like, he owns up to the decision I made fun of earlier. Like, he'll own up to it and be like, yeah, that wasn't right or anything like that, you know? But KD, ever think he's ever going to do something like that? No, I don't think so. So unless he wins with Brooklyn, and even with how toxic Kyrie Irving is, I mean, he made the Celtics, who I think are a pretty decent team, look pretty bad. You know, it would put him up there if he won. But, yeah, man, I mean, you know how I feel about KD.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like, a lot of times, KD, he acts too human, and I think that's what makes people mad. Like, if somebody's talking smack about me, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna pop them in their mouth. And KD's kind of like the same person, but he's in the position that he's in, and I think that we're like, all right, you're a basketball player, you shouldn't have feelings. Boom, we're gonna come at you. So I think that's the difference. Like, only thing, like, if we take everything that people don't like, it's like personal strikes about how he feels. Like, I know a lot of people want to say they're mad at him from joining the Warriors, but the Warriors they're still a group of human beings who had to play good, and they played good for 3 consecutive seasons. To where I think that labels as, all right, if KD wasn't on the team, is the Warriors really making it back to the championships? They might, maybe, but not as a sure pick. You know, all right, I'm gonna bet some money in Vegas. I'm gonna get a little bit because they're gonna be the number 1 pick anyway. And that's because of KD. I really just started thinking about this today because, like you said, they're showing highlights of everything, and I was just going to some KD highlights, and I'm like, man, that's like way a bad dude. The way he plays, he can shoot. He used to dunk a lot. He just has a weird frame, and if he just stay off the Twitter and then really, you know, if he didn't really just show some of his, like you said, if he didn't show how much he cared, then he'll be looked at as better. But it's only one player I don't like more than, I won't say I don't like more, but it's one player more toxic player than KD, and I'm gonna have to go with is Kyrie. And it's so funny that they're on the same team, and it's like, dude, why would you two guys who hate everything and everybody join teams together? Now it's gonna be like that times 2, because so as soon as somebody says something about the other person, it's over. Like, look at OKC when he was with Russell. Like, Russell was, Russell's a man. At the end of the day, he wants to be a star too. Like, that's okay. Like, people want to do that, and he was his Robin to his Batman. And of course, he's gonna say something, but they had some good chemistry. I look at, like, we talk about Jordan being great, but look back at it. Scottie Pippen got some Hall of Fame. He has a Hall of Fame career, and he's a Hall of Fame player. Like, huh? Like,
no, I said totally.
Yeah, and when he went to Portland, he proved it. So, him playing with people you got to play with good players to get to the championship. So I don't like that against KD. I just feel like he needs better PR. He needs to watch what he says, and he does. And I do admit he does need to care less because he cares too much. Like, people say stuff about this little show we have, and it's like a person that I know. I can't get mad, but if it's a person that I didn't know at all, I for sure would never even care. Like, it won't even cross my mind. Like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, I think that's what kind of that's what's holding him back to this day. Is his attitude towards the media and the fans, and He's like Ronda Rousey right now, but I think that's a work. That should be its own show in itself because people don't know what we're talking about. Um, any last questions? I mean, you guys can hang up, I guess, but let's see. Are we gonna get Alvin in here to talk MMA? Because there's a lot of stuff going on in MMA right now. Because there's not going on in MMA right now. That's the news. But I don't know. Let's talk MMA. They have to cancel the sports and all that. But Vince McMahon pulled some kind of string to where Florida he gets to perform, and I think that might be the future of all sports until the end of the year, until we get all of it over with this COVID. If they can, everybody can come. Because wrestling, we all know AEW. I don't know if you're familiar with Wrestling Guru, but WWE, AEW, everybody is still who has television tapings are still holding their tapings in a secluded arena with the people who they already checked. Like I feel like somebody can still get sick with COVID, but it's just a better way to police the event. And maybe that might be the way for all events to go for at least this year. Like it's gonna suck, but if LeBron, I don't think he's gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna win the NBA championship. But if the Lakers go versus Milwaukee and they have everybody tested, like they can come up with some kind of fast COVID tested, and they have like just a family there, like a high school, like a college game or something like that. Not like a big college game, but like a NIT first round type of vibe in a little crowd. I'm here for it. Like I do think sports should be back. It is kind of like it's boring without it. Like we talk about so many things on the show, but we have to find things to talk about besides watching something happen the night before and then talking about it. Like, I do want it to come back, and maybe WWE is laying out that plan. I know people got mad at Vince McMahon because they said maybe his relationship with Donald Trump, aka Cash Out Trump for everybody right now. They might he might have helped them out and get their bid in Florida because I know the Florida governor came against them going there. But maybe that might be the future. What do you think about that, Juan?
Yeah, I mean, there's even talks of like MMA going. Dana White wants to buy his own island or bought his island already and everything like that. And he has the A Center in Vegas, but there's talks of them going to Florida for that sheer fact. Like if they're going to say wrestling is central business, I think they can definitely use MMA into that realm. I mean, they already had a crowdless event out in Brazil before the actual down. And as a fan, it was actually kind of cool to see because you can hear the corners very, very clear. And the instructions and all of that. So it was kind of fun. Wrestling, I mean, I know that, you and I have gone into talks because we are fans of both, WWE and AEW. The one thing that's coming out of this that I actually like, and I think that they're taking a page out of Lucha Underground, rest in peace. But it's the production value. I mean, seeing like, kind of like the movie-esque storylines and like the pre like cuts and pre-video and like even that, that Undertaker match.
The
production value of that. Like that's actually like this type of environment, it's something different, it's something fresh, it's something new. It's like it's entertaining as hell. So that's actually pretty cool to actually see that's come out of this, in my opinion. But I think you're right. I mean, I miss sports. I mean, us having this show, like it's all about reaction to what's happening out on like the GM world, right? Like the draft, like, stupid comments here and there, or like reactions or anything like that. But talking about games, I mean, that's what we kind of use to escape. That's what we use to go out. So it's like, should it come back? I do think so. Is it going to be fun without any fans? I don't think so, but I do see that. I do think of that being the future in a short amount of time, I think it gets complicated how we do that, though. You hit it right in saying testing needs to get better, I think. In order to do that, I know that there's some commissioners that have been talking about if they do go into a fanless environment, that they're probably going to have to quarantine teams into actual hotels. And I think that's going to be tough, like family-wise and, just travel and everything like that. But, I mean, I do think that it's probably get everybody in one state and just run it.
Yeah, I think so. Guru, you think they're going to do that with the NBA and maybe the baseball season? I wish they can hurry up with that.
Well, I I believe basketball season is canceled, right? Didn't they
It's,
cancel
it's
that?
it's canceled for the moment, but I know it was a post. I read something that Donald Trump is going to talk to the commissioners in the next couple of days to see what they can do because, like we said, like these wrestling promotions might have the blueprint already because they have their sporting events. It's a closed tight like it's more than 10 people in these arenas. Like you got people, a few people, essential people. Like you got cameraman, you got the two commentators, you might have the six wrestlers in the ring, but these are all people that were tested and they're all staying in Tampa or wherever they doing their hostings, show hosting that. And I think that might be for the meantime, because they're saying that it's a lot of conflicting reports about COVID and Corona that we might be locked down for, not say lockdown, but it might be in self quarantine or distance or whatever it's called for about a year or maybe more. And sports is gonna come back. We all know it. It's a big money maker. A lot of people are losing money. We can do a whole show about the WWE layoffs, Juan, if you want to, because it was a whole bunch. And I think, anyway, I'll come back to that. So we'll see, because the NFL draft is coming up, and I think we're temporarily living in a new world. So I think we're gonna kind of figure out how to adjust to this new world, and we're gonna put sports back in there. Like they're doing the draft virtually. They're gonna have their own private workouts. Everything's gonna be closed off to the public for a little bit, but we'll get back to normal. And it'd be good to see sports back. But I wouldn't be against if like um, the Houston Rockets won the NBA championships and there was no fans in the stands. I like Houston. That's my NBA pick. If I had to pick, I like Houston. Um, do you guys have to go? I know it's past 9. I just want to say that if you guys have
I
to.
do.
Okay, Guru. Um, we'll see you, Guru. Thanks for calling in. It's always a
All right
pleasure.
then. All right.
You have a
All
good
right,
one.
fellas.
Okay, Guru's gone. Juan, if you have to go, let me know, and we can end the show. Hold on, Juan. I can't hear you. All right, say it again.
So I can go a couple more minutes, man.
Oh man, I can't. I can hear you talking, but I can't hear you on the thing. Like they can hear you, but let me try to set this up to where I can hear you.
No problem.
Let's see. Properties. No. Let's see. Oh no, there we go. All right. Want to say something?
Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you.
Yeah, I can see like the audience they can hear you, but I couldn't
Yeah.
hear you for a quick second. I couldn't hear you. Now I hear
Nah, no.
myself twice, but I'll fix it in a second. But yeah. What do you want to talk about? What was I talking about? I just forgot.
It's just sports, man. Are sports going to come back? Is Florida WWE? Are they onto something?
Yeah, I think so though. I think that might be the way. They have they're still doing shows. They're at the end of the day they're still doing shows. They're still going. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was like the future.
Yeah. I mean, they'll figure it out. I mean, it's conflicting reports and
Monitor off. Monitor off. All right. Talk.
Yeah.
Oh man, sorry about that, guys. I muted one on accident.
No worries.
What did I
I
do
won't
that
say that.
for?
I won't say everything I just finished saying for the past minute or so, but
No,
I mean,
go ahead.
sports back. I do think that wrestling is definitely onto something. I mean, it's definitely pretty cool to see on a weekly basis something new, fresh content. I love the fact, like I said earlier, the video production just going up on those establishments. AEW, I think, is definitely better positioned because they got private backing.
Yeah.
Money wise, I mean, I think they don't have like they're just establishing, so it's gonna hurt them with like the big sponsors and everything like that. But I think they're good for. I mean, I actually believe they wrestlers and they put on a really really good show. So I don't mind it. I think it's WWE. Like you're starting to see the roster cuts. You're starting to see that there's no fans. Like they rely a lot on the pop of the fans, and it's like if you don't have creative writers, if you don't have just creative minds backing it, or like really you can't go back to the same tricks or anything like that. You have to go back to a brand new drawing board and kind of reestablish what a norm is, man. But the only thing that I have to compare at the moment is wrestling because it's the only thing that's active at the moment.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's we're seeing the effects of the crowd not being there, merch sales, and the WWE is a big carnival tour, and they sell out almost every place they go, and they're not getting those tickets, so it's hurting them. Like I feel bad for the wrestlers that got released, but I also feel great for when everything gets back to normal, the talent they release. And let's go through the list. I know most of you guys don't watch wrestling no more, but just give us like 10 minutes, and then we'll get back on topic of. But let's see. We got Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, Primo, Epico, Eric Rowan, Sarah Logan, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, EC3, Drake Maverick. I wasn't a fan of him. Kurt Hawkins, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Leo Rush, and I think they just announced that they released Rusev, Zack Ryder. I'm glad to see Rusev out of his contract. I've wanted to see him free for a while. Zach is finally, he's. I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot of pressure for AEW to sign these guys when they can. But at the same time, it's like, are they going to step into the same situation when they go to AEW? Because there's going to be so many people there. Like a lot of the WWE problems is writing, but a lot of it is they have a lot of people there that's high caliber players. You can't give every high caliber player a spot. Like Jon Moxley, he needs the championship in AEW because he's a high caliber person and a talent. So. But we'll see. I would totally not watch WWE if they can get Rusev in there and Zack Ryder in there and make their careers mean something. And EC Carter, we know what he's done in TNA. He brought them up before.
Yeah.
But,
W's position.
Yeah, let's go ahead, Juan.
No, I was gonna say that I think AEW is in a position to poach. Yeah, can you hear me? Yo.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. They're in a position to poach the best of the best, right? I mean, some of them are going to land on their feet. I mean, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, like I'd like to see them hopefully go there. But if not, I mean, they were already established in New Japan. So there's always that avenue. But it'll be interesting. I mean, at the same time, there's just too much. Like I don't want AEW to turn into WWE where there's just too much talent where they didn't know what the hell to do with. It's going to be tough, but AEW is definitely in a position to kind of go after the top dogs. I do see Rusev falling there for sure. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see,
Yeah, I think once all this post-COVID world is settled down, it'll be some good things. A lot of people are out there right now, and the WWE. It's as much as they had a reign on it. It's better when it's competition. Like when something that's there to bring you up, it's only going to bring you up. It's like look at the game. Look at Madden. Like Madden sucks because they don't have no competitors. Yeah. Now that 2K is coming back next year, supposedly, It'll do good. So competition is always welcome in anything. Any last sports stories you want to talk about, or anybody in the crowd or that's still watching? Any last things you guys want us to talk about before we say goodnight? Let's see. Let me look at the comments. Anything from your end, Juan? Oh, we supposed to talk about the Raiders.
No,
Dang it, I missed the Raiders like I always do because I don't want you guys to bash the Raiders.
We'll spare you this week, man. It's like, and that's the funny thing, man. I mean, I think you've been down on the Raiders and we've been up on them. So it's like, yeah. You're the fan here, and it's been opposite. So we'll spare you this week, man. It's definitely cool.
Cool. All right, Juan. Thanks for coming on. It's always a pleasure. We'll be back. We're here every Wednesday and every Friday at 8 p.m. We have a set schedule. We want to get that going so you viewers get familiar with us on a respectable time that you guys already know about. Like, it's no more last minute posts. We're coming like, oh, we're going to be on tonight. No, we're going to be on Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday is going to be the heavily produced show where we're going to keep going and going. Friday can be a heavily produced show where we keep going and going. But the key is to really bring the conversation to the people we know. Like, we can watch ESPN, we can talk around other boys and or whatever and the girls, but the conversations we have within each other is always better. Like I always say, and I say it every single show. I enjoy celebrities. I enjoy the professionals, but I also enjoy my friends. I like to hear people's opinions, and I like for people to hear my opinions. And this is just a platform to do it. We're supposed to be staying inside, so this is my part, staying inside. Hopefully you guys can stay inside at 8 p.m. Wednesday and Friday and tune into this YouTube channel because we're here. Boom, Juan, take it away.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, once again, shameless plug. I'll give a shout out to my daughter. Happy birthday. But at the same time, I mean, just appreciative for those of you guys that did stick with us through the whole thing. I know that, we can ramble on and a couple of technical difficulties out here. But I also say reach out to us, man. If you guys want to call in, you guys want to talk about a topic or anything like that, let's do this. I mean, we're not experts by any means. We research, we can Google with the best of them. But Alvin, call us in, man. I mean, let's definitely chop it up, MMA, boxing, anything's game, man. I definitely will say, encouraging everybody to kind of, talk and stay busy amongst this time, because like you said, Ramir, we're all staying home. We're all, bored at times, we can only binge watch so much, but yeah, man, that's about it.
All right, everyone. We'll see you back on Friday. We're going to talk some more sports, but we're going to also switch it up and talk, maybe I see a comment about fight night. So maybe we talk sports gaming. There's different topics and just keep it going for you guys. Have a good night. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Wear a mask when you're outside. Peace out.